Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the national anthem. Please remain standing for a moment of reflection so that we may all individually, according to our own beliefs, join our hearts and minds to give thanks for this year's blessings. Thank you. You may now be seated. And now, a word from the senior class of 2022 Vice President, Sydney Bebel.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming to the Class of 2022 graduation ceremony. I'm Sydney Bebel and I'm the class vice president. I'm a part of the Lake Highlands Wranglers team as well as the tennis team. I plan on attending the University of Oklahoma next year. I would like to introduce our principal, Mrs. Carrie Jones. Mrs. Jones received her bachelor's from Ouachita Baptist University where she majored in sociology and minored in accounting. She received her Master's of Business Administration from Henderson State University, where she focused on the field of marketing. After receiving her MBA, she moved to Dallas and worked as a recruiter. After 2 years in corporate America, Mrs. Jones decided to pursue a career in education and joined the Alternative Certification Program in Dallas ISD, where she earned a math certification. Mrs. Jones taught 7th and 8th grade math at Benjamin Franklin Middle School in Dallas for 5 years, and then began working as an assistant principal at Forest Meadow Junior High and Richardson ISD. She served as an assistant principal at Forest Meadow for 8 years before becoming principal. After serving as principal at Forest Meadow for 4 years, Mrs. Jones became the principal at Lake Highlands High School. She just completed her 3rd year here. She loves being a Wildcat and is so thankful to be part of the amazing Lake Highlands community.
Thank you, Sydney. Good morning. My name is Carrie Jones, and it is with great pride that I stand before you, the principal of the School of Champions. I'm honored to be part of this special occasion, and it's my privilege to introduce our special guest today. Guests, when I call your names, will you please stand and be recognized? And everyone, please hold your applause until everyone has been announced. Sitting to my right, our interim superintendent of schools, Mrs. Tabitha Branham. Members of the Board of Trustees, Mrs. Regina Harris, President, Ms. Debbie Renteria, Mr. Eric Eager, Mr. Aaron Lynn, Mrs. Rachel McGowan, Mr. Chris Poteet, and Mrs. Megan Timmy. Although not sitting on the stage today, we want to thank our Interim Superintendent's Advisory Council, who work along with Mrs. Branham to ensure we are a district of excellence, and they have all helped to make today possible. Thank you. Okay, now I'd like to introduce those seated on my left. Our top 10 graduating seniors. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Number 10, Madeline Smith. Number 9, Charlie Baumgarten. Number 8, Ava McClung. Number 7, Kyle Moran. Number 6, Davis Klemchuk. Number 5, Jackson Reed. Number 4, Laurel Dormany. And number 3, Brandon Beller. Our salutatorian with a GPA of 106.044898 is Charlie Silva. He will be attending the University of Texas at Austin, where he will be studying aerospace engineering. I'd like to ask Charlie's family to please stand and be recognized. And the valedictorian for the senior class of 2022 with a GPA of 106.165957 and attending Dartmouth College to study economics and art history is Sarah Shelton. I would like to ask Sarah's family to please stand and be recognized. Thank you, guys. Next, I'd like to introduce our student leaders, our senior class officers. President, Evan Leeper. Vice President, Sydney Beebell. Secretary, Audrey Taylor. Treasurer, Sarah Shelton. And Historian, Brandon Beller. I'd now like to introduce our student council officers. President, Jackson Marburger. Vice President, Drew Dubliquet. Historian, Caroline Meek. Treasurer, Grace Karoom. And Secretary, Will Hutton. Our superintendent's Student Advisory Council. These are students who met monthly with our superintendent, central staff, and the Board of Trustees to discuss topics important to students. Please stand and be recognized. Ella Deason, Adam Lopez, and Noel Whitehead. And lastly, I'd like to introduce our announcers, Mrs. Elizabeth Garcia and Mr. Masood Shamsuddin. Please help me in acknowledging our stage guests one more time. You all can have a seat. Yep. Okay, now I'd like to take a moment to recognize our esteemed members of the Lake Highlands Learning Community. When I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Mrs. Jenny Bates, Executive Director of the Lake Highlands Learning Community. Mr. Bill Gallo, Principal of Memorial Park Academy. Mr. Nick Rustin, Principal of Lake Highlands Junior High. Mrs. Susan Burt, Principal of Forest Meadow Junior High. Mrs. Emily Grunninger, Principal, Lake Highlands Elementary. Mrs. Tanya Anderson, Principal, Wallace Elementary. Mr. Jose Vega, Principal, Moss Haven Elementary. Mary Kelliger, Principal, North Lake Elementary. And Miss Michelle Duke, Assistant Principal at Skyview Elementary. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we also have some outstanding Lake Highlands High School faculty with us today. Teachers and staff, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. You may be seated. Today would not be possible without the help of several of our staff members. When I call your name, will you please remain standing? Mr. Casey Gray, Associate Principal. Mrs. Kendall Hutchinson, Assistant Principal. Mr. Thomas Lambert, Assistant Principal. Mrs. Marion Wilds, Assistant Principal. Dr. Herb Ruffin, Assistant Principal. Mr. Shamsuddin, Assistant Principal. Ms. Detrice Thomas, Assistant Principal, and Mrs. Tessa Pettigrew, Senior Assistant Principal. I'd also like to recognize our Lake Highlands counseling team, Ms. Shamika Brackens, Lead Counselor, Ms. Joycelyn Anderson, Ms. Rhonda Boston, Ms. Mariana Hogue, Ms. Maggie Karnowski, Ms. Velma Lopez, Ms. Judy London Young, Ms. Patty McKay, and Mr. Culis Williams. Many of our Wildcats have received national recognition for their academic achievements, and I would like to acknowledge them at this time. As I announce this next group of students, please stand and remain standing. Our National Merit Commended Scholars are Laurel Dormany, Davis Klemchuk, Ava McClung, Anna Moore, Jackson Reed, Sarah Shelton, and Charlie Silva. Please join me in recognizing these outstanding Lake Highlands scholars. You may be seated. Thank you. Lake Highlands honor graduates have attained an overall average of 90 or higher throughout high school. Honor graduates, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. You may be seated. We're so proud to have students graduating as avid scholars. These students have committed themselves to academic excellence and successful college careers. Avid students, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. You may be seated. Memorial Park Academy is RISD's non-traditional high school program that works with students from all 4 high schools to complete graduation requirements. The program most recently celebrated its 200th graduate this school year and approximately 1,300 graduates since its creation 6 years ago with Bill Gallo as its principal. If you are a student who attended Memorial Park Academy, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. You may be seated. Our service learning awardees have earned 60 or more community service hours. The class of 2022 completed over 4,106 service hours. Will the service learning awardees please stand and be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. Much of what makes Lake Highlands such an outstanding high school is the community's commitment to the success of our students. I'm honored to announce that the Lake Highlands Women's League and the Lake Highlands Exchange Club have given numerous scholarships to many of our students in the class of 2022. Seniors, if you are a recipient of one of the Women's League or Exchange Club scholarships, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. You may be seated. I just want to say, class of 2022, I am so excited to be able to celebrate this moment with you. Parents, families, and friends, thank you for taking the time to be here this morning, and thank you for all that you've done to make such an impact in the life of your graduate. Senior Wildcats, You will always be known for your ability to push through any situation, and I'm so proud of everything you've accomplished this year. You all are the masters of pivoting, staying positive, and being resilient. I hope you look back on your senior year and think about the accomplishments you've made and know that nothing can stop you from your success. Remember, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat, and please know that you always have a home at Lake Highlands High School. Be sure to stop by and visit when you're in town, and I am so excited about the next chapter of your life. Thank you for your time at the School of Champions, and I sincerely wish you all the very best. We will now hear My Heart is in the Highlands under the direction of Mrs. Kari Gilbertson. Okay, and before we introduce our next speaker, we have a special message to our class of 2022 salutatorian, Charlie Silva.
Congratulations, Charlie. You know how stinking proud I am of who you are and how God is growing you. Today, I celebrate you, and I describe you as determined, intelligent, thoughtful, funny, and a loving follower of Jesus. Keep leaning into him as you head to UT to make new friends, study hard, serve others, and have fun looking good in your burnt orange. Remember, you have a cheering team for you from Texas to heaven. I love you the most.
Charlie, I am so proud of you and all you've accomplished as graduation day is finally here. Your salutatorian designation is a reflection of your discipline and perseverance. More importantly, you've stayed grounded in the things that matter most. I'm excited to see how the next chapter of your life unfolds. Congratulations.
Now, will you please welcome Lake Highlands teacher, Mr. Brody Lyons, who will introduce our salutatorian, Charlie Silva.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm absolutely overjoyed to be here this morning and excited for each and every one of these students. Congratulations to all of you that are here today. I've had the pleasure of teaching many of these students at least once throughout their time at Lake Highlands, some of them twice, and a few others 3 times. Having the opportunity to teach repeat students is special because you get to see them change from year to year, grow, mature, and come into their element. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing to you one of my repeat students that I was able to see grow, mature, and come into his own element. When I first met Charlie Silva, he was a freshman student in one of my pre-AP geometry classes. He quickly asserted himself as the smartest kid in the room and at times made sure everyone knew it. He was competitive, and he applied that mentality to every aspect of my class. I'm not sure how he approached his other classes, but math was definitely something Charlie didn't take lightly. In fact, even I was not spared when it came to Charlie's competitiveness. I noticed quickly that this kid was not going to let me take any mistakes lightly, and I needed to up my game as soon as possible. I found myself checking my work more often and learning to explain concepts in the best way possible. I wasn't going to be called out by that kid any more than I had to be. Sometimes I made a mistake and he made sure the entire class knew it. And sometimes he raised his hand only to be corrected and come up empty-handed and slightly embarrassed. None of this changed the fact that I loved having Charlie in class and thoroughly enjoyed grading his work, especially when he could solve one of the ridiculous bonus questions that we put on the test that no one else could figure out. Charlie was one of those students, a truly excellent academic student. But with all of that said, my time with him his junior year in AP Statistics was, to me, more impressive and more impactful. Taking the entire year into account, Charlie was still a bastion of excellence, work ethic, and critical thinking. Even more than all of that, his mentality towards class had shifted from being centered to himself onto others. Although Charlie's competitiveness still remained, his desire to find fault had completely diminished. I vividly remember him approaching me after a lesson to discreetly discuss something I had mentioned in class that was clearly wrong, but he had waited to address it until the end. He came up to me and said, "Coach, I'm not sure if that's right." So I immediately corrected the mistake to the entire class, and I thanked Charlie out loud. It meant a lot to me that he would approach something so respectfully, even though he knew that I was wrong. It was nice to be on the receiving end of his humility and grace, and so refreshing to observe that by a student. Add to that the fact that Charlie, as a junior, was typically at the center of conversations after class, reviewing confusing concepts and helping others understand the material. I don't ever think that Charlie disengaged from class. He contributed to the environment, and his own expertise helped others realize that mastering concepts was possible. Having a student like this in your class makes such a difference. It mitigates the stress in the room, and it also allows me, the teacher, to spend more time with other students when I can count on Charlie to help the other half of the room. Over the years, I have had the pleasure and opportunity to teach students that are way smarter than me, and Charlie is no exception here. However, it's not every year that I get to teach a student that has a servant's mentality, considering others' needs at times ahead of his own, contributing to the whole, and buying into a collaborative culture. And I'd like to stress that clearly for Charlie, this was something learned, developed, and something that he had worked on. He made a conscious decision to approach school and life this way, and I'm thankful for that. So with that, would you please give it up for Lake Highlands High School's Class Salutatorian 2022, Charlie Silva.
Hello there, and thank you, Mr. Lyons, for introducing me. Your teaching and classes helped to motivate me to study engineering, and I'm really grateful for your commitment to our class through Young Life. First off, congratulations to Lake Highlands class of 2022. I'm very honored to represent this class as salutatorian. When we first walked into those doors freshman years, we came from many different backgrounds and schools, but our last 4 years here have united us as Wildcats. Over this time, we've all grown and matured in many different ways. We've discovered more about who we are and who we want to be going into this next chapter in our lives. Thank you to our loved ones, friends, and teachers that have all supported and guided us throughout our whole lives. This is a debt we will never be able to repay. In my life, my parents, my older brother, and my older sister have all been there for me and been role models for me to look up to. Less than a month from today will mark 5 years since my older brother, Austin, passed away. But I continue on following his example that he set of leadership and encouragement with an appreciation of the opportunity to do things he never lived to do. My faith is also something that's really important to me and has given me the strength to keep on moving through the grief. I want to thank God for the ways in which He's helped me and showed me how to live a life that honors Him. I've really enjoyed growing up in Lake Highlands, and especially in the last year, it's been really fun to have such great sports teams to cheer for, and to get to watch our football team play at the Boneyard almost every Friday night during the season, and to see our basketball team beat undefeated Plano in the second round of playoffs. For me specifically, I've enjoyed running cross country, and I'm really grateful for Coach Miller's leadership and the friendships that I've made in it. Competing in a meet in the pouring rain and running in a milk mile may sound like miserable experiences, but with the community I found there, these became some of my favorite memories. However, our time at Lake Highlands has come with its challenges. We went through COVID and all of the difficulties that came along with it, like quarantining and virtual schooling, and each of us have had our own battles that we fought too. And life going forward isn't going to be without challenges. There will be hard things, problems we don't see a way around, and that will test us in ways we weren't prepared for. But we've made it here and achieved the goal of graduating high school. We are resilient and strong, and I'm confident that we are more than capable to face anything that comes our way, especially as we recognize the ways in which we need one another. All 583 of us in this class have the capacity to dream big and achieve great things. At Lake Highlands, our class has experienced a lot of laughs. We're one of the last classes to call the Freshman Center, despite how hard faculty pushed for it to be called the H Building. We're one of the last classes to eat in the old cafeteria in the Student Center before the hub was built. One of the last to not have a block schedule, and hopefully the last to have to walk between buildings in the rain during passing periods. However, even though we've experienced a lot of laughs, we have a lot of endings. We have a lot of new beginnings to look forward to. Whether we're entering the workforce, college, the military, or whatever else is on the horizon, we are going to be making a lot of new firsts. So let's look forward to these firsts, remember the last, and appreciate the now, because you'll look up one day and realize 4 amazing years of your life have gone by in the blink of an eye. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Charlie. Before I introduce our next speaker, we have another special message for our class of 22 valedictorians, Sarah Shelton.
Hey, Sarah, we are so proud of you. Ever since you were a little girl, you set goals, you worked hard, and you achieved every one of them. I love that you have stayed true to yourself over the years, and I think your drive and passion are going to carry you far in life. I can't wait to see what you do next.
And to my favorite daughter, I'm so going to miss our special moments together, and so looking forward to your next journey in life. And regarding that next journey, we know you're going to kill it. So congratulations.
We love you.
Please help me welcome Tracy Bishkin, Lake Highlands High School teacher, who will introduce our valedictorian, Sarah Shelton.
It is my honor and privilege to introduce a very special person to you today, your valedictorian, Sarah Shelton. When I first met Sarah 3 years ago, I thought, whoa, this young lady is far too confident. She needs to be tamed. But soon I realized that yes, she had every reason to be confident. She was thoughtful, creative, and even inspirational. And after a while, it was clear that she was going to teach me much more than I could ever teach her. So in that vein, I thought it would be appropriate for me to give you a few life lessons that I've learned from Sarah. Number one, big things come in small packages. Diplomas, diamonds, truffles, and Sarah. She's small, but she packs a mighty punch. She's fierce, and she stands by her principles and gets things done. After all, her GPA is higher than her. Number two, be intolerant. Sarah is intolerant of many things that divide us. Bigotry, hatred, small-mindedness. Sarah fights against those ideas every day. However, in Sarah's case, she's mostly intolerant of gluten. Read voraciously. Over the past 3 years, I've spent a lot of time with Sarah, and she reads a lot. She reads because she's curious about politics, art, culture, and language. Sarah can tell a good story because she reads good stories. Number four, take charge of things. Sarah thrives on solving problems and calming the chaos. If ever we are faced with a dystopian nightmare, Sarah would be on my speed dial. Number five, use graph paper. Sarah takes the most beautiful notes that look both calming and inviting. I'm certain that the key to her success lies in those faint blue boxes, the endless symmetry and multitude of squares, and Sarah is thinking outside every one of those boxes. Number six, when there's a fork in the road, make time for both roads. Sarah didn't get where she is today by following a narrative. She has forged her own path. She's learning Arabic, she reads Stephen Hawking, she likes chewy ginger candies and gluten-free muffins. She knows the road less traveled. Lastly, number seven, be competitive, but lift up those around you. In her academic career, Sarah's excelled beyond what most mortals are able to achieve. But along the way, she has encouraged and inspired all of her classmates. She has been gracious in her successes and determined to use it for good. On the other hand, she is a valedictorian. Sometimes you just have to put your foot on the pedal and wave to everyone in the rearview mirror. Sarah, you're about to start the next leg of your journey at Dartmouth College. I know you'll bring along the same level of enthusiasm and curiosity. I know you'll always find comfort and encouragement from your family, your devoted parents, Kay and Tom, and your very talented brother, Jacob, not to mention your devoted dog, Cooper. You'll meet brilliant new friends from all over the world, but keep in touch with your lifelong friends here at Lake Highlands. I'm so proud to be called your teacher. And to all of your fellow classmates, I hope you too will follow Sarah's lead and remember the very best things come in small packages, but once revealed, just like Sarah, they can surprise and amaze. The class of 2022, I am honored to introduce your valedictorian, Sarah Shelton.
Welcome everyone to the graduation of the class of 2022. Thank you all for being here with us to celebrate this momentous occasion. I'm sad I cannot speak to everyone in person today, but I will be watching alongside you. And a big thank you to Ms. Bishkin for introducing me. You've left a huge mark on many of our lives, both in and out of class. Your classroom is full of laughter and fun, and I hope you know how thankful I am for all the time you've put into helping me succeed. First and foremost, I want to thank some people whom I could not live without. To my family, thank you for always telling me I could do whatever I wanted to do or be whomever I wanted to be. Jacob, you are one of the funniest and most caring people I know, and I can't wait to see where life takes you. To my parents, thank you for being beacons of never-ending support and for showing me what it means to love and be loved. I see more of you in myself every day. This would not have been possible without you guys in my life. And thanks to my dog Cooper, who's obviously not here, but I love him very much. To my best friends, I love the four of you more than I can explain. I can't imagine life in a few months without you around every day. You mean so much to me, and I'm so thankful I found you so we could spend our happiest moments together.
I'm so proud of the people you've become and how you've made me a better person too. To my teachers, thank you for believing in me and pushing me, sometimes to the limit of what I expect out of myself. To all the women in my life, my mom, my friends, my classmates, and my mentors, thank you for showing me what it means to be strong and caring, even when it's not easy. And to the class, we really stepped back into the school our senior year as it was rebuilding itself. We took over as leaders when it wasn't necessarily easy, and yet we were determined to make an impact. We have students who are activists, who are fighting for equality, for the environment, and against hate. And each and every one of you have made us a class who knows who we are and what we believe in, and this school is better because of it. While we have a diverse student body, it's been difficult at times to see adequate representation. Our legacy at this school has been defined by our mission to change this. You all have created platforms where individual thought is celebrated, where students' opinions are valued and respected, and where our community is seen in its entirety. It's easy at this school to get stuck in a bubble, to be contained with one idea and run with it. But true unity and inclusion means a school where student variability is celebrated. I feel like a better student and listener because our graduating class has pushed the boundaries of what is normally expected. And I hope this school makes strides towards creating an environment of change and progression. As we all go off to college, work, or just out into the world, I urge that we continue to have conversations on the unfamiliar with people who hold different perspectives. Whether you're going thousands of miles away, or even if you're staying close to home, know there is a world out there that is waiting to be explored. And to every graduate who persevered through hardship, whether it be mental health, discrimination, or even chronic illness, you are truly what strength and dedication looks like. You represent what it really means to be a Wildcat. I'm sure we are all ready for the next chapter of our lives, ready for daily schedules and long hours in class to be over with. And yet, if there's anything I've learned during my 4 years here, it's that the little moments between classes and obligations have defined my experience here in high school. These small tidbits of each day make up who we are, whether it's D-lunch with my best friends, sleepy morning bus rides to tennis tournaments, or road trips on spring break. I know I will look back on those moments more than any stress or anxiety I ever felt. Remember, as we go off to college and beyond, that we are the sum of the people we surround ourselves with and the unforgettable moments we spend with them. And we really have spent so much quality time together, shaping each other and looking out for one another. And I'm so proud of us, so excited for us, and I can't wait to see what we will all go out into the world and do, because I know it will be big. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Sarah. And now we'll hear a few words from our senior class president, Evan Leeper.
Good morning, faculty, staff, friends, family, and fellow graduates. My name is Evan Leeper, and I've had the honor of being class president for the class of 2022 at Lake Highlands High School. Seniors, we did it. Whether you've been longing for this day or dreading its arrival, it's here. We have all come so far, and all your hard work has finally paid off. All of the analysis essays, science experiments, and math exams have brought you here. I am lucky to have called Lake Highlands my home since the beginning, and I have met so many amazing people along the way. This community is rich in its traditions, and it has given me memories that will last a lifetime. From field day and assemblies in elementary school to our senior year pep rallies, I hope that each and every one of you have valued your time here in Lake Highlands as much as I have, no matter how long you've been a Wildcat. I'd like to start by thanking my fellow class officers, Sydney, Sarah, Brandon, and Audrey, who have made this job that much more fun. Thank you to the teachers of Lake Highlands for inspiring us, sharing your knowledge with us, and helping us to achieve our full potential by showing us what it means to apply ourselves through passion and dedication. We know you care about us and our success, since you clearly aren't in it for the money. Thank you to parents and guardians for everything that you do. You feed us, do our laundry, and help us manage our hectic lives. You have shaped who we are today, and we hope to have made you proud, and now you can finally turn that spare bedroom into a home gym. And finally, thank you to all of my fellow seniors for being dependable peers and friends to one another. Your impact on this school and the people around you has not gone unrecognized. You are the backbone of this community, and for that, I'm proud to be a part of the graduating class of 2022. As we bring this chapter of our lives to a close, we remember the ups with the downs. We have persevered through a global pandemic, power outages at homecoming, walking to and from buildings in the pouring rain during construction, and various other public school fiascos that were redacted from my speech. Regardless of the tough times, we stay resilient. This class is made up of distinguished, determined, and talented students who have undoubtedly left their mark on Lake Highlands. For example, boys basketball, area champions, football, volleyball, soccer, and tennis, all by district champions. Swim, all relays advanced to regionals. Band, area finals champions. All choirs getting perfect scores at their UIL competition. These, along with many, many more awards, accolades, and scholarships have been earned by my fellow graduates. And how can we forget when Nahaz made that amazing game-winning shot in the student versus faculty basketball game? These are the memories and relationships we have been lucky to make as Wildcats. Invest in these memories and relationships and let them act as a foundation upon which to build the next chapter of your lives. Let the friendships last a lifetime, and let your experiences here at Lake Highlands be the root of all amazing accomplishments to come. I am so thankful to have taken this journey with all of you. Just know that whatever great things you go on to do, it all started here. Thank you, and go Wildcats.
Thank you, Evan. I would now like to ask Interim Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Tabitha Branham, and Board of Trustees President, Ms. Regina Harris, to the podium. The Lake Highlands High School class of 2022 has fulfilled all of the requirements set forth by the state of Texas, and I would like to present them as candidates for graduation. Will the class of 2022 please stand?
By the power vested in me by the state of Texas, the State Board of Education, the Texas Education Agency, and the Board of Trustees of the Richardson Independent School District, I now declare each student who will be receiving a diploma to be a graduate of the Lake Highlands High School.
Graduates, please move your tassels from right to left.
It is now time for the presentation of the diplomas. Graduates, please be seated.
Sarah Nicole Shelton. Charles David Silva. Todd Brandon Beller Jr. Laurel Brooke Dormany. Jacob Scott Reed. Davis McGuire Klumchuk. Kyle Patrick Moran. Ava Paige McClung. Charlie Baumgarten. Madeline Nichols Smith. Evan Thomas Leeper. Sydney Claire Kingery Bebel. Audrey Simone Taylor. Noel Bishop Elliott Whitehead. Adam Lopez. Ella Louise Deason. Jackson Bennett Marburger. Victor Andrew Dubuquet. William George Hutton. Grace Patton Karam. Caroline Marie Meek. Adam Abdi. Habib Abiadoun. Abdul Baki Abiose. Grayson Mays Adams. Sarah Abderrahman Adawi. Dorcas Adega Ola. Vanessa Ajibim. Alexa Bianca Aguilar. Litzy Aliana Aguilar. Love Osirase Awirgene. Deidiola Ferdad Akinyaju. Isiola Victoria Alabi. Alexander Jamaya. Tanaya Alexander. Demetrius Louise Allen. Solomon Mohammed Ashabili. Marlene Alvarez. Wilbur Acleto. Paola Andrade Lara. Andrew Andrade. Mackenzie Angus. Lucas Jeffrey Akini. Arman Ansari. Samuel Anyamele. Koshiaku Anyanwu. Charitzi Sohak Aparicio. Celia Aquino Ortiz. Ryan Syed Arafa. Abiola Arijibi. DeAndre Ramon Armstrong. Gabriel Arriaga Ramirez. Lydia Louise Arthur. Enrique Santiago Arreviusi. Sorry. Valeria Asenharumuen Asemoto. Sorry. Abdeme Asimu. Is it Fayu? Fu Ong. Sydney Marie Aven. Jean-Pierre Avila. Joseph Valdemir Ayala Duran. Yoamid Victoria Ayalu. Sorry. Rorion Badrina. William Blake Baguette. Kevin Frederick Bomolutira. What is it? Jonathan Barahona. Natalie Kate Barner. Ignacia Barnes. Samantha Barnes. Lauren Elizabeth Bernowski. Mallory Elaine Bernowski. Saraí Batres. Preston Randall Beatty. Jasmine Carafola Bello. Roger David Bellman. Elizabeth Benitez. Elena Bermúdez Reyes. Edican Cerita Bernard. Jake Gordon Bernhard. Deidria Berry. Stanley Van Bick. Lillian Louise Bindra. Madeline Elizabeth Blakeman. Daniel Mahanri Bocanegra. David Naham Bocanegra. Zain Bakari. Matthew Trace Bond. Adan Bonilla. Alex Trinidad Bonilla. Alexander Craig Bowen. Sarah Breedlove. Julius Brewster. Sham Rahana. William Edward Brokaw IV. Alan Ted Brooks. Jaqueline Deshawn Brooks. Andre Deshawn Browder. Chandler Brown. Shayla Monty Brown. Jeremiah Bjord. Andrew Alexis Bucio. Betsy Andotia Bonilla. Trace Cannabis. Jaquez Baker Jackson. Adriana Cabrera. Sarah Daniela Cadena Davila. Shimar Kalam. Thomas Camp Jr. Gavin Robert Campbell. Kennedy Reese Cargo. Evelyn Yasmin Carrillo. Evelyn Brinkley Karam. Benjamin Carson. Jose Cartagena. Karen Casas. Helen Castillo Tobar. Ryan James Kavanaugh. Thomas Garner Caverly. Marcy Vanessa Cerda. Katongo Shonda. Caden Chase. Albert Daniel Chavez Sosa. Tyler Angelo Clark. Jake Clifford. Nathan Kleins. Sydney Grace Court Green. Angel Irineo Cortez Arro. Isaiah Ezekiel Courtney. Matthew Crawford. Madeline Grace Crinton. Mackenzie Crow. Travis Neal Crump. Kimberly Cruz. Andrew Burton Curtis. Pierce Dane. Owen Thomas Doriani. Wilson James Davenport. Drew Benjamin Davis. Grace Nicole Day. Brian De La Rosa. Virginia Lee Dement. Brian Steve Diaz. Zaira Fernanda Diaz Denise. Avery Quinn Cicero Dixon. Natalie McKenna Celeste Dials. Van Diem. Cadencio Dericio. William McClendon Dishman. Gracie Evelyn Dorman. Caden Dotson. Aiden DeRose. Eromoselli Princess Enalho Dixon. Caroline Kitten England. Nina Julia Erickson. Gabriel Israel Espindola Gomez. Daniel Itera. Kiwan Evans. Naya Nicole Evans. Joshua Martin Ezekiel. David Alawansumese Fakeh. Lima Faratan. Mamoon Farahton. Samawoon Farahton. Olivia Fox. Abdurrahman Faye. Charlie Cortera Fernández de la Cortera Pérez. William Fira. Latrice Flagg. Alexis Flores. Fatima Denise Flores. Irene Flores. Danny Manuel Flores Alvarado. Rosalie Flores Nava. Carlos Alberi Flores Ramirez. Emerson Foley. Preston Foley. Parker Thomas Faust. Jason Fowler. Hector Galvan. Mireya Galvan Arredondo. Catherine Sarah Gannett Gahn. Jacqueline Garcia. Elizabeth Garcia. Vanessa Garcia. Richard Jeremiah Garcia IV. Patrick Dwayne Garrison. DG. Sean Geeter Tate. Ethan Ariane Goreshi. Jackson Dawson Giddens. Marlene Gillespie. John Gilliam. Anisha Princess Gibson. Teres Glushko. Anthony Gonzalez. Caroline Lee Griffin. Kayla Michelle Griffin. Germán Steven Guerra Martinez. Paul Ray Guevara III. What is it? Guliat. Haven Ayala Guliat. Jonah Guiton. Ainsley Elizabeth Haas. Joshua Anthony Hamilton. Joseph Owen Hannes. Chance Harden. Olivia Page Hui. Jerónimo Gabriel Huerta. Jasmine Nicole Hardy. Asia Nicole Harris. Leah Lynn Harris. Haishimi Sanab. Morgan Nicole Hassel. Jermaine McCall Hemingway. Guy Henry. Tobias Henry. Reese Amelia Hensel. Luis Norberto Hereda II. Alexis Hernandez. Mason Hernandez. Ben Lamar Hernandez. Giovanni Hernandez. Sarah Jimenez Hernandez. Wendy Hernandez. Josué David Hernandez. Carol Hernandez Trejo. Hayden Herring. William Michael Herrin IV. Jalen Hervey. Kamani Janae Hightower. Lindsay Rhodes Hilner. Joshua Bentley Hogue. Zion Hassan Hobson. William Reed Hawker. Trinity Hooper. Jasmine Chanel Hoover. Melanie Hoppers. Jacob Vernon Hernung. Benjamin Robert Howard. Christopher David Howard. Lou Larso. Lou Larso. Lou Larso. So. Kata 2. Ethan Hughes. Ana Paola Hutron Ortiz. Anam Hussein. Grecia Scarlett Ibarra. Prince Iheswe. Carson Elitis. Karen Denise Uturva Borjas. Natalie Rose Jacobson. What is it? Kyra Fassini Janae. Austin Shea Jawanowski. Paulina Ann Jill. Shane Jenkins. Xavier Jimenez. Jermichael Donnell Johnson. Kobion Cornelius Johnson. Laquan Johnson. Jeremiah Jones. Pharrell Jones. Sharish Elvia Jones. Terrian Jones. Daniela Tuanade Jabril. Serena Jade Kim. Trip Kindle. Jason Troy Kirchville. Michael Klein. Wyatt Andrew Klein. Knowlton. Mary Catherine Knowlton. Catherine Virginia Cobley. Noah Scott Kratz. Joe Corechi. Adriana Lacey. Emma Jean Latos. Alexis Andrea Lawson. Matthew Lawton. Emma McWright, lawyer. Hong Lee. Kirsten Leffler. Dietrich Foster Legg. Sloan Brianna Leschner. Edna Leonides. Ava Lewis. Jaden Spencer Liang. Jimena Licea. Sarah Evelyn Libby. Ajane Liggins. Dayanara Linares. Shakira Littleton. Dennis Lockett. Emerson Grace Logan. Adriana Hazel Lopez. Ryan Josue Lopez. Christian David Lopez. Evelyn Aylin Lopez. Isabel Lisette Lopez. Giovanni Christian Lopez. Heiner Lopez Alejo. Annette Lopez Aviles. Natalia Christian Loveless. Gregory Giovanni Luna. Okay.
William Macy. Jeremy Macharia. Jennifer Masil. Balawatife Daniel Mandandola. Marvin Magadan. Mike Mahari. Sarah Maldonado. Salvador Maldonado Aguirre. Nadia Yasmin Maldonado Vasquez. Omar Mencias. Kelvin Erickson Mangandi. Johnny Lionel Manzano Mateos. Stephanie Elise Marban. Aniola Marquez. Holt Martin. Jeremiah Sherrill Martin. Macy Grace Martin. Manuel Martinez. Josue Martinez Andrade. Prince Mboni. Alan Scott McClure. Mackenzie McDowell. Kennedy Nicole McElroy. Cabrina McFarland. Elizabeth Ellen McNamara. Ethan McNeil. Smith Andrew Mazel II. Anise Mahmood. Ava Grace Meyerhofer. Juliet Paola Melendez. Carlos Angel Mendoza. Radit Teklab Mengestab. Jalen Miller. Medina Mohammed. Imam Mohammed. Noman Mohammed. Momand. Desoa David Monohin. Mu Pa Nur Mu. Grace Moon. Anna Elizabeth Moore. Kyle Matthew Moore. Macy Joe Moorhead. Selena Morales. Johan Morales. Alondra Morales Nambo. Baldo Moreno. Dimitri Moshvitz. Gideon Mugisha. Kalia Simone Ratliff. Corey Mumfree. Ella Murray. Eric J. Nahara. Francisco Nahara. Stephen Navarez. Marshall Takoa. Grace Olivia Norris. Samuel Odelami. Moses Oho. Olawatamehin Emmanuel Oloporoku. Mark Oluwadolopo Oloni. Ye Ne O. Sulma Elizabeth Oriana Castillo. Ruby Ormsby. Adderall Ortiz. Natalie Rose Ortiz. Ladavian Osborne. Hudson Osborne. Christian Osorio. Giovanni Alexander Padilla Trujillo. Hugo Palacios. Benny Polorno. Shakir Pathman. Marlene Patricio Bueno. Kate Michelle Patterson. La A. Pa. Jawan Cornelius Payton. Milagro Peña. Carlos Perez. Jacinda Perez. Thomas Perkins. Daniel Stryker Philbrook. Hayden Ann Pokorski. Alex Porcayo. Landon Schwab. Joseph Potter. Milo Potter. Aaron Potvin. Olivia Yvonne Potvin. Aaron Price. Haley Prine. Simone June Pruitt. Simon. Quigley Cash. Lucas Anthony Myers. Daniela Garza Quinones. Michael Rainier. Brianna Ramirez. Brian Ramirez. Paola Ramirez. Jansen Kyle Ramos. Carter Randall. Naomi Randall. Orlando Randolph. Tyler James Ratliff. Abdullah Raouf. Jared Ray. Mauricio Axel Rayo Nahara. Ashir Rahman. Summer Grace Reed. Oscar Renova. Axel Isaiah Resendez. Jeremiah Richards. Aisha Rico. Kira Elise Rinaldi. Murata Grace Rink. Abraham Anthony Rios. Rosalda Rios. Martino Nicholas Rivaplata. Stevens Josue Rivera Escobar. Trinity Alexis Robinson. Ruben Jesus Robledo. Beek Hum Thong. Aiden Matthew Rodriguez. Danae Rodriguez. Jose Ronaldo Rodriguez. Jemiah Saray Rollins. Jack Ryan Rottenberry. Kayla Ray Rowe. Bibi Sana Sadat. Efren Safari. Asadullah Saif. Husni Saif. Sumaya Saki. Ursula Sofia Salas Ramirez. Diego Enrique Sanchez. Armando Sanchez Jr. Ella Ann Sanders. Daniel Sandoval. Say. Kayla Schwanke. Megan Seidmeyer. Parker Luis Sepulvado. Vanessa Serrato. Kibar Shakbagzil. Tanaya Faith Lee Shelby. Abdullah Shinwari. Jacori Sayas. Victoria Marie Silva. Marcus Christian Davis Simpson. Jacovius Marquel Singleton. Carly Ann Smith. Colby Smith. Emma Marie Grace Smith. LaShawn Anissa Kiari Smith. Michaela Amaria Smith. Caden Snellgrove. Kendall Ann Summers. Kayla West. Argenis Baldemir Soto Banegas. Lamaya Sana Sparks. Jaquavius Segal. Naisha Segal. Maya Stevens. Peyton McKenna Stockham. Jalen Elijah Deshaun Stoker. Audrey Grace Stone. Blake Clifton Stovall. Maya Rose Strange. Aaron Sullivan. William McKeevan DeAndre Survey. Susan Catherine Tabor. Peyton Elizabeth Tanuri. Raylo Taw. Constance Grace Taylor. Van Long Thong. Hank Boudreaux Thomas. Owen Davis Thomas. Raven Chanel Thompson. Chelsea Raquel Janae Thorpe. Julio Tirado Garcia. Ethan Tokar. Eddie Toledo. Gabriella Toledo. Anna Catherine Thompson. Wyatt James Toombs. Talitha C. Torres. Joshua Tobe. Min Tran. Giselle Trejo. Russell Salvador Trevino. Michaela Tucker. Renicia Tucker. Victor Tercios. Abraham Guy. Ashanti Turner. Caleb Turner. Cash Gilbert Ubin. Caitlin Ann Urban. Luis Fernando Valderrama. Shaylin Jayanne Varner. Ja'Cory Latroy Vaughn. Luis Vasquez Lopez. Paul Veliz. Peyton Vernon. Dicey Michelle Vidalis. Asiba Veria. Jaden Walker. Tyron Lamont Washington. Crawford Lee Will. Morgan Weems. Andrew Riley West. Johnny Wheatcroft. Sasha Simone White. Marquise Glenn Whitehead. Brina Blake Williams. Destiny Elizabeth Williams. Raven Williams. Alden Elizabeth Winburn. Garrett Woodbury. Jacob Wright. Montrell Tubo Yarberry. Taylor Latrice Jarrett Young. Adolfo Dimitri Zul. Brooke Admasu. Gianna Benitez. Ethan Cardenas. Julia Sajay. Crystal Anderson. Mario Esquivel Jr. Ajibola Miriam. Custodio Palma. Clarion Lewis Dilworth. Nahaz Wahab. Precious Ororio. Gael Lujano Garcia. Sergio Jr. Ruiz. J.C. Acevedo. Sky Carrillo. Edwin Namdi Abili. Diamond Pointer. Dora Abiole Falade. Dominic Isaiah Lattimore. Tashila Donald. Eniola Shohunmi. Eniola Victoria Akambuji. Timoteo Genevieve Oluwaseyon. Abigail Crystal Basia Isidro. Aaliyah Wade McKellar. Cassandra Gerald. Jaqueline Gray. Seema Khan. Valerie Vera Sanchez. Julian Harris. Gabriela Baruca. Yareli Frias. Sheena Palafox. Aisha LaShawn Burns. Laura Abbas. Atakombo Adebayo. Matthew Bailey. Micaiah Sims. Keasia Ross. Bryson Randall. Xavier Bryson. Timitade Fabsuyi. Abdul Maigan. Trezor Ibigu. Cherish Abiouchi. Angel Smith. Hermila Mesfin. Oscar Agabana. Tracy Easy. London Boone. Ricky Merida. Daniel Scott. Chisholm Ekaweme. Esaqua Josephine. Jennifer Soperchi. David Olahindi. Michelle Gonzalez. Kimberly Contreras Diaz. Tylen White. Demiri Aquavian Butler. Angel Arevalo. Jennifer Dubon. Ana Rivera. Ezekiel Olewatu. Jessica Lavasquez. Clarence Okoje.
Okay, congratulations to the class of 2022. Will you please rise for the alma mater? Thank you, audience, and please remain seated as we escort the Lake Highlands High School class of 2022 out of the stadium. Thank you.